Welcome back to Competitive Air Gunning. You're probably wondering why we are sitting here with a Voodoo V22 rimfire versus a air gun. That is because the weather's going to be kind of crappy out for the next couple weeks. And with the shorter days, I don't have a whole lot of time to shoot, especially with playing catch up after the holidays. So I do have a match coming up in about a week and a half or so. And I will be running this V22 versus my air gun just because it's a hunter match and it's a team match. And the way those go, you have to carry all the gear that you take with you. When the time starts, you take it to the shooting positions where you will engage your targets. And that can be a little more of a hassle when you're carrying air bottles and, you know, a bunch of other stuff that you would normally carry with the air guns at matches. So with the amount of walking I'll have to do, I opted just to go ahead and run my Voodoo. It's been a while since I've played with it, so it's going to be kind of a learning curve again. This trigger is completely different from my Panthera, and honestly, I'm going to have to really slow down just to make sure that I don't have any accidental discharges, which is the main reason why you do not close your bolt until you are on target and ready to pull the trigger. So it's a really disciplined type of shooting that we do, and it really helps make sure that you are going to engage your target when you close that bolt. Now we moved on from that. This is the Apex Rival 4x32x56, and this scope, I love it. The reticle on this thing is phenomenal. It has some features that I really like that I go over in another video. The main purpose of this video was for leveling a scope, and a couple different ways that we will do that. So with that being said, I already know where this scope's going to go on this gun because I've already did this video, and it wasn't until I got all the way done with it that I realized that my battery died on my phone, so we get to redo it. I have a little level on this scope here, or on this rail, so I can see what my gun is doing when I'm behind it, getting ready to shoot. I can see if I'm level or not. We have a Scout Air Guns tripod, which I really like, using this versus a gun vise anymore because it's smaller, compact, and I can pack it away and it's out of the way. No more big, bulky, gun vices that I have to figure out, what to set down to grab a hold and carry it to the truck. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. One of them is with levels, and the other is with a automotive set of feeler gauges. Both of them work very well. This one is pretty fast. And it mainly entails the bottom of this scope here is flat, and it will directly correlate with this flat rail. So both of them will be completely parallel one another, meaning that with that gap between it, with that gap between the rail and the bottom side of this scope, that means I can fit a set of feeler gauges underneath it when I have the right set of them, and I can fill that gap in just right, and that scope will sit completely flat. Super easy, doesn't require too much. You don't really need a vise, you don't really need a whole lot of stuff. If you got to do something on the fly, it's not a bad thing to have in your bag in case you do have to take your scope off in the field for any reason. We won't be using this today, but I just wanted to show you how simple it could be with one of these, just in case you did want to put one in your range bag, in case, like I said, you ever have to take your optic off for any reason. Now this one here is a simple level. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to level this rail here, and I'm going to use my tripod to hold this gun still. So once I get this completely level, once I get that completely level right like that, I will tighten this tripod down, and this gun will not move. As you can see, the bubble is still right in the middle. Now, like I said, because I've done this already today, I know the scope is going to sit right here, which the back of the turrets is going to sit right there at the front of that level, making it really easy to put right back in the same place. And we'll go ahead and tighten these up or get these ready, and then we will check our levelness. One thing that's good to do is to make sure you are keeping a gap between both sides of the rings and you're not clamping one side all the way down and leaving a big gap on the other one. We got that one started. I've got this torque screwdriver in my hand. I got it set at 22 inch-pounds. You don't want to tighten up your rings too much. You can damage your scope. Another thing I do with every set of rings is I check them to make sure they're aligned by lapping them. Not all the time do I have to lap them, but it is good to double check. Working with production equipment and around people for so long, you begin to realize that no matter how much you double check, triple check, or think you've checked everything, something can always slip by. So no matter how much that set of rings is or how cheap it is, it never hurts to double check and make sure that you're aligned, because that is one thing you don't want to do, is damage your scope or potentially cause you points in a match, or if you're really unlucky, you get to the end of the match sitting high in points and for some reason something fails and now your score drops you out of any kind of prize or recognition. So you don't have to, but it's always good just to double check, because like I said, you could damage your stuff, and this stuff costs way too much money to risk, especially when it only takes a couple minutes just to check and see, especially when it takes just a couple minutes just to check and make sure that, everything is properly aligned. Now this scope, that's probably honestly the first time I've ever done that. That thing is perfectly level, and honestly, I will say that is the first time that has ever happened to me, by far. So maybe a lottery ticket time. And on this scope here, it has 32 mils of travel and elevation, and it also has 20 mils of windage. The zero stop is very simple to operate on this. All you do is zero your gun and then loosen up the screws on top of the cap and reset your zero back to the arrow, and it's that easy. So really easy. We are set there. Nice audible clicks, let us know we are done. I'll hit a couple of them one last time just to make sure. And like I said, I just wanted to go over a couple different ways how I do it, and hopefully that helps you out. you definitely want to make sure your stuff's level. It will, because you know, the more level you can get this stuff, the more true it is, the more accurate your ballistics calculators are going to be. You know, whether you're running crest rolls or street locks or, you know, whatever. You know, the farther out you get in distance, if your gun's on level, the more it's going to be inaccurate. Anyways, like I said, I hope that helps you. And that's it for today. Hope you had a good holidays.